What an opportunity to speak to you today. And for those of you that know me, what a challenge. I'm not exactly known for being short-winded. 10 minutes is crazy hard for me, so I've brought my notes to keep myself on track. I'm honored today to be speaking to the future of veterinary medicine, and I am grateful to be here to talk about a subject that I am truly passionate about. I am here today to let you know that you truly are the future. You get to choose our veterinary pathway. And my concern for you is that without becoming a little disruptive, a little forward-thinking, and without finding your inner entrepreneur, I am concerned about your future. Most importantly, I am here to challenge you, encourage you, excite you, and maybe even inspire you to create amazing possibilities for your future. I do believe you can have it all. And the brilliant thing is that only you and you alone can define what your all is. Lastly, I'm here to dare you, each and every one of you, to think big, to dream big, and to create a future that is yours on your term. We need you to want to be a practice owner. Veterinary medicine is now about women. I believe that this is a good thing for our clients and patients. Currently, veterinary classes are predominantly female, I think about 90% in most schools. And when asked, very few of these young women have any interest in practice ownership. I think less than 10% of those 90% have any interest in ever owning a practice. And this makes me sad. Yes, we do have to take a very close look at how we can be healthy, happy, mentally well, and financially secure while doing what we love and what we have dedicated our lives to become. This is important stuff. We are suffering as a profession, and these problems need to be solved. I am here to say that I feel strongly that creating a desire for practice ownership in you is part of this solution. 20 years from now, who will own our veterinary practices? I think it should be you. When I was about 1 year out of veterinary school, I worked at a practice that had a euthanasia contract with the local animal services. In a nutshell, they would show up several times a week with 20 to 40 animals to kill. The reason that these animals had to die was because that they had been held for 72 hours and nobody had shown up to pick them up. And the other reason is that the local animal services didn't communicate with the local adoption shelter, and so they wouldn't coordinate to bring these animals into that shelter for adoption. I was the newest of a team of 9 veterinarians, and the newest there by about 8 years. So you can guess who got stuck with the job of doing these euthanasias. It was me. And a pivotal moment in my life was the day that I became a thief. I stole a little poodle that was destined for euthanasia. It has a happy ending, don't worry. And I just couldn't kill her. I hid her under my desk at work, and then I took her home that night, and I found a home for her. And she had a great life. But I decided that day that I couldn't do this anymore. I decided that I had to own my own practice and that I would have strict euthanasia policies. I would not euthanize healthy animals, nor would I expect my staff to, ever. I also decided that I would dedicate a portion of my time to working with and bridging relationships between animal shelters and organizations to help decrease euthanasia rates and to increase adoption rates. I was able to honor this commitment that I made the day that I stole Scrappy Dog. That was her name. All of my hospitals have strict euthanasia policies, and 15 years later, I have helped to transform multiple shelters in 3 different provinces, and I currently have the honor of being the Chief Provincial Veterinarian for the Nova Scotia SPCA. I was able to do this because I decided it was better to be in the driver's seat and to control my own destiny. Who is going to dictate your destiny? Who will own practices in our country 20 years from now if you decide not to? What does your future look like if you leave it in someone else's hands? Maybe you don't want to own a practice. You don't want to work long hours. You don't want to deal with staffing issues, hiring, firing. You don't want to deal with money, financing. You just want to walk in the door, be a veterinarian, and walk out. Well, I'm here to tell you that a huge part of practice ownership is not knowing everything. Successful practice ownership is about surrounding yourself with the right people to do the jobs that you don't like or that you don't know how to do. It's trial and error at first, but if you become a leader and not a dictator, being a practice owner is rewarding. It's about being vulnerable and talking to people and finding the right mentors for you. It truly is exhilarating. Yes, there are pain points along the way, like any journey, but trust me, it's worth it. And the liberation that comes with being your own boss is totally worth it. Learn your strengths and weaknesses, like now. Now is the time. Get in touch with your ego and pick the right people to be aligned with. Good partnerships can be uplifting and energizing, and bad partnerships are like a bad marriage and not so much fun to be in. I am fortunate to have the best business partners in the world, and they do energize me and inspire me daily. But I've also experienced some not so great partnerships, and trust me, life is too short to stay in a relationship that's not a win-win. I am here to tell you that you can have it all. You get to have a say. I dare you to redefine your role as a practice owner so that you can focus on the parts that you are passionate about. And I am living proof that you can indeed have it all. But first, and this really is the best part, you have to define what all is for you. For me, all is my children, time with my family, pets, time to enjoy life, lots of time for travel and adventure. I love to be scared and to conquer my fears. This is my all, and if I can do it, anyone can. I come from a blue-collar family from rural New Brunswick. My high school graduation class would have been about 14 kids. I am the first doctor in my family, and as a matter of fact, when I got married, I didn't change my name because my family was so proud to have a doctor amongst them, I didn't want to disappoint them. I purchased my first vet hospital less than 2 years after I graduated, and my husband and I grew that practice to be a multi-million-dollar grossing practice. I also founded Vet Alliance, and this company has quickly grown and is currently the largest affiliate veterinary buyers group in Canada and one of the largest in the world. I have started other hospitals and clearly have discovered and nurtured the inner entrepreneur in me. I am a wife, a proud mother of 2 sons, and I get to take more than 8 weeks of vacation every year, and like I said, love to adventure travel. I'm able to remain active as a veterinary practitioner, mainly because I think my ego needs to say that I am first and foremost a veterinarian. I remain a customer service advocate in my hospitals. I help shelters to become adoption focused. And by choosing to become an entrepreneur, I truly have it all. My all, that is. I love being disruptive and creative while pushing change. If I, a blue-collar girl from a humble family in rural New Brunswick, can do it, so can you. How lucky am I? I get to walk off this stage today and join you in the audience and listen to one of my heroes, Dr. Jane Goodall, speak. And then I am pleased to share with you I'm heading straight to Halifax tonight because I, a veterinarian from rural New Brunswick, have advanced to be a finalist for the Ernst & Young Canadian Entrepreneur of the Year Award, and the red carpet ceremony to announce regional winners is tonight. Please take the time to figure out how you can be an owner and have a phenomenal life and career. Find partners to excel in the parts of practice that you are not passionate about. Find mentors that challenge you and push you to be your best, and most importantly, will call you out when you need it. Being vulnerable to people that you trust to help you find solutions is liberating. Create solutions that guarantee your success as a veterinarian. Please don't let our future be big box corporations. Sounds pretty boring to me. Don't get me wrong, I am not anti-corporate. I am pro-independent ownership. 5 years ago, I was definitely anti-corporate, and then a significant conversation changed my mind. I received a phone call from one of my original Vet Alliance members, and he asked me if I had a few minutes to talk. And then he proceeded to tell me that he had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and they had a very short time left. I was shocked and deeply saddened, and I asked him if there was anything that I could do to help. And he did tell me that there was one thing. He asked me to stop seeing corporate as the enemy. He asked me to instead understand that we need corporate ownership, and he challenged me to continue to follow my passion to support independent ownership of our veterinary hospitals, but to also figure out a way to work with corporate and to understand why they were not the enemy. You see, when he was diagnosed and was given 3 months to live, none of his associate doctors had any interest in owning a practice. And he did not want to be gone and leave his grieving family and wife to deal with the burden of selling his practice. He also wanted to ensure his staff weren't scared about their future. A corporate veterinary organization was able to do all this for him. They were able to complete the purchase in under 6 weeks. They were able to promise him that all of his staff would keep their jobs, and they gave him the dignity of spending the time that he had left with his family to be true time without the stress and fear of this added burden. He took the time to call me to tell me this, and I'm so grateful that he did. Now I understand that there is truly a place for all types of veterinary practices and ownership models, and it is up to you to ensure that independent ownership remains as part of these models and still exists 20 to 25 years from now. Thank you so much. I am so grateful to be able to share my thoughts with you, the future of veterinary medicine.